I want to talk about growth. I want to talk about taking the steps that are necessary in order to reach the point that you are at right now. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the ways that I've had to grow over the course of the past few years, and also some of the things that we've had to go through in order to get here. To kind of start off, I want to talk about my living situations. So I've been pretty open about living with my mother-in-law, soon to be, and her boyfriend, as well as William's little brother, Dakota. We all live together in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplex. So we're going to go back a little bit in time to when we first moved to North Carolina. So we were very anxious to get out of Ohio. We had been very anxious to leave Ohio since we were first together. We were like ready to go. We wanted to be on our own and do our own thing. And as you can imagine, being so young, because we met and started dating in 2016, we were both 17. We were obviously young. We didn't really know what was going on. We didn't really know what we were going to be doing with our lives. So, as you can imagine, it was kind of like a hop around situation. So William and I moved in with his aunt, then we moved in with my parents, then we moved to North Carolina. The move went well. Nothing bad happened. It was nice. It was easy. We had to, William had to come down early and bring down a trailer full of our stuff. And then after that, he came up, got me and the animals, and we went down. And we've been here, living here, ever since. So we had been talking to William's mother for a long time about moving down to North Carolina because, as some of you guys might know, and probably not a lot of you know, our end goal is to live in Georgia. So that move from Ohio to North Carolina covered a lot of ground for us. And so once prices of things start going down again, so we can actually get the bang for our buck, we're going to be buying land in Georgia and moving. But prior to this, we needed a place to go. And we, like I said, had been talking to William's mom, and she invited us to come down and live with them. The apartment that we used to live in when we first moved down here was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment that was very small. We didn't have a dryer, and William and I didn't have a bed, which is kind of obvious because there were only 2 bedrooms, and Dakota was in one, and Dewey and my mother-in-law were in another. So naturally, we didn't have anywhere to go. So it was kind of a rough time. William and I slept on a blanket on the floor of their living room, right beside the couch. And we would pick up our stuff and move it away so that they could like do things throughout the day, and then we'd lay it down and go to sleep again that night. And we lived like that for a few months. I can't remember exactly how long we lived in that apartment, but back then, it was a really rough living situation. We just didn't have enough space for all of us, and it was hard every night knowing that you had to lay down and sleep on the floor. It was really hard. It was hard washing your clothes and knowing that you had to hang them outside, and the neighbors could take your clothes because we didn't live in a very good area. And yeah, it just kind of sucked. So, during that time period, I had started trying to lose weight. I didn't know how to. I basically went into one of those, like, I'm gonna count calories and deprive myself of food modes. So basically I started to become anorexic again. And during that time, I really wasn't able to get out and walk because, like I said, we were in a bad area and I did not want to get mugged or worse. I didn't really go out. Yeah, it kind of sucked. But the reason I'm bringing this up is it ties back into the concept of growth. So we kind of hit the lowest. It felt like the lowest of the low, because when you wake up in the morning and your back hurts and you barely got any sleep because the floor was cold and hard and uncomfortable, and then you have to get up and you know that you're not going to be able to do anything fun. And also at that point I was starving myself. I had no space to move, so I just sat in my chair and spent my whole day in my chair, or I would go outside and do the laundry. There wasn't a lot for me to do. So I kind of felt like that was a pretty low. You kind of get into a cycle of waking up and saying, okay, this is my life, let's just make it to tomorrow. And then you lay down and go to sleep, then you wake up and it's the same pep talk. And you're like, okay, this sucks. So we ended up finding, it was really hard to find a place to live, because either it wasn't big enough, the rent was too much, or it didn't allow animals, or whatever, or there just wasn't enough housing in the area. There were so many reasons why we couldn't find a place. But there ended up being this house that was a little ways up the road from where we are now. And it was a 3-bedroom, I believe 1-bathroom house. And it was small, but I remember we went to look at it so that we could potentially rent it, and the people were saying, oh yeah, we're gonna get you, you know what, we're gonna cancel the next upcoming visit, we're going to give you guys the keys, this is yours. So we were like, cool, you know, all of us are together still, and this is gonna be good. So they ended up not telling us that they actually didn't cancel the next viewing, and they rented it to them. And I remember feeling so heartbroken, because I was like, we're finally gonna have our own room, I'm going to be able to close the door and have privacy. I was like, this is gonna be so amazing. And then it didn't work out, and that just felt like a punch to the gut. And we were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. This is just the worst. I feel like everybody in the house at that point, probably besides Dakota, because Dakota's just a really chill guy in the first place, but I feel like everybody in the house was like done dealing with it. You know, we were like, this is too small. we are all walking on top of each other and we're uncomfortable and we don't like it. And it was putting a lot of strain on William and I. And so one day, Dewey got, I don't know if it was a phone call or what, but somebody that Dewey knew, who he had turned down, this guy had turned down an apartment for them at one point. I can't remember the reason. I think somebody else needed it more, and he was like, okay, we'll put them in there, and then the next time, I think that's how it went, the next time, you know, I have something, I'll give you a call. So he got the information about this place. And I did not have my hopes up because I was like, okay, I don't want it to be like the other house where we were so ready to have it, and then it fell through. So I stayed back at the other apartment, and William and Dewey went, and I think William's mom went as well, and they looked around, and they were very pleased with the place. And we were allowed to have pets, and the guy gave us a really good deal on rent. And so they were like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen. We're gonna get this place. And I remember thinking like, okay, I don't want to get my hopes up. So they went through the process and they got this place to rent. And I can't even explain the satisfaction of the first night, even though we still had to sleep on the floor because we had no bed. I can't explain how ecstatic I was the first night when William and I came into our bedroom and were able to lay on the floor, even though we don't like laying on the floor. And it was just our space, and we could do whatever we wanted with it. At the end of all of this, we'll be where we want to be. But this was such a nice building block. And I'm not sure how much longer we have to be here. It's been such a blessing. We've been able to grow so much as human beings here. We live right uptown, so we can walk around and go to like the little restaurants or cafes up the road and the little stores and ride our bikes around and walk around, and just, it's nice. We know our neighbors. We know a lot of people up the strip, so we can just talk to all of them. It's just really a nice upgrade. And so I kind of wanted to like talk about this and kind of bring this up because I wanted to insert a bit of realism into everything. I know that I keep my videos pretty real, but I feel like there's a lot of things that I also don't talk about, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to open up and talk about things more in the future. But yeah, I hope that whoever watches this is able to sit back and realize that even if you're not where you want to be right now, there's always going to be better right around the corner. And I used to be one of those people who didn't think that that was true. And I don't know. It is. You just have to believe in it. So I guess we'll have another chat about this in the future when William and I have our own place. But for now, I think that that's gonna wrap up this little story time. Let me know if anyone else has felt this way or has had to struggle with a living situation, didn't feel like they belonged, didn't feel safe, whatever it is that could be bothering anyone. You can go ahead and talk about it if you'd like. And yeah, I hope that this is helpful to somebody, at least one person, to give you hope and the power to make it through. I think that's it. So thank you everybody who stopped by. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. If you don't like it, you know, there's also the other button that you can click if you don't like it. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!